Hello and welcome to the Ending Body Burnout Show. We're your hosts, Chris and Philly, co-founders of multi-award-winning functional medicine practice, serving busy people with energy, mood, and gut issues.
Well, busyness, overworking, addictive doing, and perfectionism might be the norm. It's not normal, and it's a major contributor to health issues.
Our goal with this show is to give you a holistic root cause approach to healing your body so that you don't have to continue doctor or diet hopping or popping a gazillion supplements hoping something might stick.
So get ready to heal your body, get your spark back, deeply connect with yourself, and step into the life of your dreams. Let's dive in.
Welcome everybody to the Ending Body Burnout Show. This episode is a really cool one. We are interviewing one of our clients, Jase, and he's gone through the Ending Body Burnout Method, specifically Spark. We're going to talk about his journey, how it's panned out for him. I'm really excited to chat to Jase. He's a really cool guy, real lovable larrikin. So I say we dive right into the show. Hey, Phil.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Do you want to introduce Jase and we'll get this show rolling?
Yeah. Well, thank you, first of all, so much for coming on the show today, Jase. We are so grateful, but also I feel like the more that people share their own stories, not just the trials and stuff that they've gone through with body burnout, but also that there's hope that you can heal and you can stay well. It's just a great gift to give to the world. So we're incredibly grateful that you're on our podcast today. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes. Super excited. Woohoo!
Awesome. Right. Well, let's dive right back to the start. So you had already been on quite the healing journey before you started working with us. Can you take us right back to the start when your body started showing signs of symptoms, and feel very free to go right back to when you were a kid?
Yeah, sure. Well, remembering back to a kid, I remember always getting hot. We lived in a little, out on a farm, and we slept up in a loft, my sister and I, and there were no windows. And we had a waterbed, and that was always hot. So it's no surprise. Now thinking back, I think I was getting cooked. And I always had rashes and things and fungal infections on my feet. It's all easy to put together when you have all the pieces looking back now, but it was a mystery at the time. But I had when I got older, the rashes kind of moved up to my back and shoulders and legs. And, probably in the last 20 years of being a landscaper by trade, I developed the back issues. And they kind of came to a climax about 6 years ago when, being a typical bloke, I just thought they would kind of go away on their own. But they never did, and eventually I tried to get it fixed.
Yeah, and the back as well. So you got an autoimmune condition diagnosis for that one, didn't you?
Yes, eventually. After getting bounced around and trying to get it fixed with lots of different appointments and people, I was eventually diagnosed with Ankylosing Spondylitis, which I had never heard of at the time. I couldn't even say it, or let alone understand what it was.
It's actually really hard to say.
Try spelling it.
Yeah. So you had these symptoms showing up on your body, the skin things, the fungal things, the food sensitivities as well, that I believe from memory that would then flare up the skin issues and also the back issues, hey?
Yes, which I discovered would be certain foods, which took a while to figure all this out, but it was certain food groups that would affect the skin, really. So as soon as I removed those, the skin calmed down.
Yeah, cool.
And the back flare-ups.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that's when you guys reached out to us too, because it's great. It's awesome to discover that there's certain foods that are triggering the symptoms, but then is that the end? I just live on a restricted diet for the rest of my life, or what's going on there? Can you?
Well, hopefully not.
Yeah, exactly. So what foods, when you were doing the elimination diet, and I think you were following Dr. Will Cole's book back then too, hey? Is that right?
Yes. Luckily, my wife, she's pretty keen on research and things, so we researched the ankylosing spondylitis.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't a lot of information on it, and everyone kind of told us that there was no cure and you just have to take some pills and things, which we weren't really keen on. So we kind of thought of some more natural approaches, and the elimination diet was something that came up numerous times. Will Cole was a doctor in America that had a book out on the elimination diet, so we went with that. And when we followed that for a period of 3 months, pretty hardcore. We cut out a lot of stuff, but the major ones we cut out were the grains and the legumes. That kind of had an immediate result, really.
Yeah.
Because with the pain in the back, it would just wake me up every morning between 2 and 3 in the morning. It would wake me up, and I'd have to get up and move around or go for a walk and do some stretches. And it would settle down, and then if I was lucky enough, I'd be able to go back and get another couple of hours sleep.
Super frustrating.
But I didn't know what was causing this at the time.
Yeah. Both Chris and I had our own fair share of kind of like the musculoskeletal issues. Mine was very much weird inflammatory things. Chris, you were a bucket load of injuries that never healed properly because of inflammation.
Yeah.
No doubt being the world's most strongest man.
It didn't help.
So it's crappy. It's often like these body burnout symptoms that start showing up. Yeah, they're annoying, but it's also then how it starts impacting other areas of your life, especially when you can't sleep very well.
Sleep's a big one, and then it just kind of becomes normal, and you forget what life before was like because you can't remember. So you just kind of live with it, and you think that it's just going to go on forever.
Yeah.
You just kind of accept it, and then your brain just kind of thinks, well, this is just another day, and this is how it's going to be.
Yeah. So was there anything else that you tried before reaching out to us? So you did the elimination diet.
Yeah, chiro and osteo, acupuncture, naturopaths, lots of different salt baths and supplements, all sorts of things, really. Not just going and trying one, but going back and trying it 3 or 4 times to give it a chance to work, but not really any prolonged success.
Yeah.
And all the doctors and things just want to give you tablets and, your eyes might turn yellow or skin might start falling off your back, but you won't have too much pain. But, that just wasn't our go. We thought, it can't be like this forever. There's got to be a root cause or something that caused it and something that you can fix.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It can't be normal.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like this.
Yeah. And that's the thing we always say. I mean, we all have a blueprint of perfect health, and also our cells. There's research around, it was Bruce Lipton, PhD. He was a microbiologist, so he looked at the cells and he discovered that they're either in survival shutdown mode or in thrive mode and never in between. So it's like, well, if we can support the body in whatever it needs, then we have the power to switch it into thrive mode. And then essentially all these symptoms and these diagnoses and labels no longer need to be there.
Well, exactly. That's just society, isn't it? You have to have a label or something for everything.
Yeah. Okay, so the first step with all our clients is the answers phase. So that's where we start digging into body systems, because you can't have physical symptoms without there being some sort of body system imbalance. And we diagnose those body system imbalances using lab testing, so functional lab testing that go beyond what GPs, medical specialists test for. Are you happy to share some of your lab test findings? Can you remember?
Yes. Adrenal fatigue, low adrenaline, serotonin. I had some big bad bacteria that Billy had never seen so out of control.
I was like, I can't even remember. It was in the hundreds, maybe. I don't think it was right up there in the
I think it was
thousands yet.
160 or something. Something I'd never even heard of.
What bacteria was it?
Oh,
do you remember?
I would have to actually pull up
Something
the stool
Latin.
test. Yeah, a big long name.
That'll do it, Chris. Yeah, something like that. But, it's all just mind-boggling stuff to me that I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
Some type of bad guy that was living inside me.
Yeah. And the bacteria too, like sometimes you can have foreign things actually come into your body or your gut that shouldn't be there. But often it's more just your normal commensal bacteria that's neutral. But if it overgrows, then it becomes an issue. And I'm pretty sure from memory, whichever strain or strains it was, they were autoimmune triggers. So research actually shows that there's different bacteria in our gut that literally triggers an autoimmune condition. And that's what we're talking about in terms of cells being either in the survive, shutdown mode or thrive mode. So get rid of the bad stuff, improve the good stuff, and then you can thrive.
Yeah, well, exactly. And a lot of the bad stuff, I think, Billy, you explained it like it had a shield around it. So it was kind of becoming unstoppable itself.
Yes.
Well, I thought it was.
What did you say there? Commensal bacteria? What's that?
Commensal. So in your flora, you've got your beneficial bacteria. Then commensal is part of your native flora. When I specifically say commensal bacteria, it's kind of like the neutral bacteria. They're important in small amounts, but when they overgrow, then they can become pathogenic or opportunistic. And what Jase just mentioned there, a lot of the times these bacteria or parasites create little cells around themselves so that they can become resistant to, say, something like antibiotics, even natural support as well, where if you're not doing it correctly, then it's not really penetrating and actually reducing the bacteria.
And does that happen naturally or that is kind of bumped into existence usually by doing something, eating something, contracting something? Is that what happens there? Yeah,
absolutely. So if the body's healthy and balanced, and then the microbiome will be healthy and balanced. So stress, lack of sleep, nutrition or poor nutrition. Jase's results too were super interesting, that your beneficial microbiome were pretty super depleted, which was surprising. I remember talking to you and it's just like, you eat so healthy and you have been living a really healthy lifestyle for a long time. Why is your microbiome so depleted? So we also just live in such a toxic world as well, that babies are being born with microbiome flora that actually isn't that balanced and healthy. And so then add in stresses of life and it just gets lower and lower.
Yep.
So how did you feel too, especially after doing all the supplements and the diets and all the remedial work and not kind of getting sustainable, long-lasting improvement? How did you feel when you saw all these imbalances? Were you excited or nervous?
It was a feeling of relief, I think, to start with, that there was something going on in there that we could fix.
Yeah.
Then a feeling of excitement and triumph comes over you because you see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
If there's something wrong, it can be fixed. And with the sore back, it just seemed like a game of snakes and ladders without any ladders. It was just all snakes all the time. And then you do the tests and some results come back and then the snakes start to go away and you start seeing ladders and ways you can climb out of them. It's the place you've got yourself.
I love that.
Snakes and ladders.
Snakes and ladders. We're going to use that in our next course that we create.
It's just like that. It's just like you're just sliding down all these snakes and you can't get back. And then you see some ladders finally and you can start climbing and then ladders start overtaking the snakes and then you just keep climbing and you're unstoppable.
And you're unstoppable. Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. I think there's, Philly, you just talked about before that life in general these days the world that we live in can contribute to depletion and an unhealthy lifestyle. But then there's things that we can do on top. There's things that we can make a part of our life that either make it worse or make it impossible to heal, just kind of supplement that depletion kind of thing. And I'm interested, Jase, for our story, for your story, sorry. What did you discover about yourself and the root causes of your body system burnout? Like, was there a mind-body connection in your discoveries?
Yes, there was. Well, we initially reached out to you guys for the lab testing, and we didn't really know what the Spark program was. And we just thought, no, we only want the test. We don't need the Spark. But then we thought, well, let's have a go of the Spark stuff. And, it was great. It changed our life. It was awesome. You discover so much about why you are where you are and why you are who you are, really.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. And I was brought up with, like, the attitude of just push through it and work harder and keep going. And then you kind of learn, that just leads to burnout, really. And the whole Spark program was just like small pieces of puzzle that you get, and you slowly put it all together, and you kind of just, things start to make sense. Everything just becomes a lot clearer.
That's awesome. Do you have anything that was like a light bulb moment to you that stands out?
A light bulb moment just getting brought up in the society where you just got to try and be someone that you're naturally not. Just by feelings and signs of weakness are just considered weak. So you just got to suppress those and move them down. And you got to keep proving yourself and pleasing people and just keeping busy. Busy all the time. And the harder you work, the stronger you are, and the more people you can help and please, the better. But it just eventually it catches up with you.
Yeah, and it's huge too, like what you said too around this is the message that society projects onto us. Which also becomes like in Spark, if someone's like, what the heck is Spark?
Yeah, exactly. We did.
Yeah, so for our listeners, if you've been listening to our podcast, you will know what we're talking about. But that is what we call the metaphysical side of, it's like the metaphysical lab testing, because you're connecting now all the dots of your patterns of behavior and thought patterns, but also what's happening unconsciously. And then healing those deeper beliefs that you've kind of taken on as a kid or from society. So it sounds like for you, Jase, it was, this message that just keep pushing, just keep doing, work hard, be successful.
Yep. You're not good enough. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. And it's almost like the more that you do, then the more that you can prove that you are enough. But really, inside, it's just like, this is not working anymore. So I'm going to send you some pretty strong signals to stop. Like literally, I'm going to give you back pain to the point that it's not just usual back pain. It's an autoimmune back pain, because I know that you can't work very well when you have back pain and you're not going to sleep. So like literally, I'm going to try to stop you so that you can get the message that something is out of alignment with yourself. Like this isn't working anymore.
It's not working anymore. Yeah, and it's the body that's doing that. But you learn that it's not just physical. It's a lot of mental stuff as well that's put you where you are.
Yeah.
Busy wasn't just physically; it was mentally as well. Always thinking and working things in your mind as well. That also burnt me out.
Yes. Yes.
We all just have self-doubt and things. And I had a religious upbringing, and it was kind of making me someone that I was ashamed of. So it took a few years before I could remove the shame and the self-doubt. I had to keep proving myself to myself, really, and to others. that I was not that person and I was the person who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You dig all these things up. It's interesting. You kind of forget about them, but they all come up. They're all pieces of the puzzle that makes you who you are.
That's awesome. I think that's a really beautiful point around shame. I call it should creek. Like we get stuck up should creek. I should do that. I should do this. You know what I mean? We get stuck
doing
up.
Stuff.
Hey, what was that?
You're always doing stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think sometimes we just get stuck up that creek without a paddle, don't we? And until we really just stop comparing ourselves to outside sources and we get this internal sense of security. I think that's part of life, isn't it? We've all got to climb to the top of our mountain, confront our wolf, and then come back down a grown-up version of ourselves, Yeah,
exactly. Just accept who you are. You don't have to prove yourself or be anyone that people expect you to be. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Shame too. I was just thinking about Dr. Will Cole, who we were talking about before with the elimination diet. His newest book, Gut Feelings, he talks about the body-mind connection and specifically the term, he calls it shameflammation. Shameflammation.
I like that.
And
That's great.
It is great because it causes inflammation, physical inflammation in the body in just the same way that, say, I don't know, sniffing parabens or putting parabens into your body, or eating something that your body then produces inflammation around. So yeah, like this deeper unconscious stuff is pretty much the tiger that chases around our system, causing all sorts of inflammation in the way of cortisol and adrenaline and, some of those things that are burnt out on your tests, adrenal fatigue, low adrenaline, serotonin. And then the more these neuroendocrine stress chemicals are depleted, then that's where more and more dysfunction happens in the body. Shameflammation.
Wow. And it just snowballs out of control until you kind of fix it.
Yeah. So take us to the moment when you realized that the Ending Body Burnout Method was actually working to solve your problem.
It's probably after about a month of the spark and the supplements that Philly provided. The supplements kind of start working and the bad things inside you start dying off and you start getting rid of them and you start learning different things with the spark lessons and your brain starts thinking differently. You kind of approach things differently and in a different way, and you just see lots more ladders. Like I said before, snakes are going away and the ladders come, and you just look at things differently and you're just more positive, you feel better. It starts to work and you just get excited and you can't wait for more.
You're like, I'm unstoppable now. And
more.
And it is what I find too when you're doing both the physical healing, but also the metaphysical healing. It just becomes this momentous, beautiful snowball of great results.
It is a big snowball, and it's just like a flame starts inside of you, and it just clicks that. I don't know. It just clicks that you've got things right. It's functional. It works.
Yeah.
You're not hiding things or taking something to fix it. It's just like you're having success by digging up and finding the actual problem and fixing it from the root. And it just kind of grows from there and it just starts to feel better.
Yeah. A new fruit blossoms on the tree.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, it's true.
That's awesome.
So, what is life looking like now? Like in terms of how is your body feeling, your health? Have you noticed any changes in your life as well, whether that's relationships, work, well-being?
Yes, well, most of the skin issues have gone.
Awesome.
When I got the gut starting to feel better, then they kind of all disappeared. I don't heat up anymore.
So good.
My core body temperature's a lot better. My back pain's come down from from probably about an 8 to a 0.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah, most of the time it's a 0. Look, sometimes if I have some food, I can go up to a 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still introducing some of the things a bit sensitive to the grains and legumes.
Mm-hmm.
So if I eat a huge bowl of pasta, then in the morning I'll have a bit of a stiff back.
Mm.
So I can get rid of that. And I've got the tools now where you can look at pain differently.
Yeah.
You approach it differently.
Yeah.
I've got a little bit of an ache in my back. I can turn it into an object. For me, it's a ball because I like the sport. I turn it into a ball. I see some goalposts. I run in. I kick that ball over the goalpost, and then the pain is gone.
That is so cool. I love it.
Yeah, you taught me that.
Jase is specifically talking about a NLP process that we use called communicating with symptoms, kind of using. It's really like the pain. The pain is also, not only do you physically feel it, but your brain is coding it in a specific way, or your nervous system. So when we can actually change it to something that we can actually do something with it. So for Jase, it was a ball that he then kicks away. Like literally, then we're just retraining the brain and the nervous system to say, hey, like we're safe now. We don't need this anymore. And we can actually decode it to reduce it and eliminate it, which is so cool. So cool.
Yeah. And now you can do that with sometimes if you have a negative thought, you can say, well, thank you. Won't be needing that. And you can sail that off into the ether as well.
Yeah.
It's great tools. You all learn this during Spark. You grow a lot. You gain so much knowledge, and you're just not afraid of things anymore. You approach stuff differently. You have a lot more self-love and confidence and happiness. You sleep a lot better. You just feel better. I'm unstoppable.
That's awesome. I'm unstoppable. I was going to sing that song from Sia. I'm unstoppable. But I don't know the words and I can't sing.
Yeah, I missed her singing, Chris.
Well, I think just what you said then before the singing part. What else would you say to others out there who might be stuck in a cycle of body burnout, struggling to get anywhere maybe, and who might even feel like there is no hope?
Look, you can be whoever you want. If you want real answers, and if you want to discover the real problem, just reach out to Chris and Philly. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier than what you're going through now.
Mm. Yeah.
It's called it's functional medicine. It's functional. That's what it means. It's functional. It works. You can fix it. You can fix yourself. I did.
That's it.
Do it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
I know. You get down and you get lost. You feel lost and nothing's working. But this functional medicine worked for me. Give it a shot. Chris and Philly are great. Do it.
You're a legend.
Thank you so much.
That's so good. I love it.
Awesome.
No, thank you guys. I can't thank you enough. It was great.
So cool.
Changed our life.
So cool. That's so beautiful. Feeling a little bit teary and emotional right now.
Oh. Hey, that's okay. Feelings are fine.
Feelings are good. They're good feelings.
They are.
You know what you do, Jase? You put the fun in functional medicine, that's for sure.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Have you been saving that one up?
Yep.
Oh, dear. So funny.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So cool. Well, thank you so much. We have loved working with you and so grateful for you to come on the show today. And I know that so many people are going to be inspired by all the things that you shared today.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the journey. And I look forward to seeing you again. Good luck, everyone out there.
Thanks,
Contact Chris and Philly.
Stick around, Jase. We'll have a bit of a chat. But thank you, listeners, for joining us on this episode of the Ending Body Burnout Show. Take care and talk to you soon.
Thank thank you so much for listening. We so appreciate you. If you'd like to give us extra smiles, drop us a review and spread the love by sharing this episode.
You can also rate your own state of burnout and the root cause contributors by taking our Ending Body Burnout assessment on our website. And if you're interested in learning about our group or one-on-one Ending Body Burnout programs, shoot us a DM via Instagram or Facebook. Have the best day ever.